Hello, my name is Curtis today. I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I'm here to read this book, the Daily Reflections for October 17th, 2025. It's called A Daily Tune-Up. Every day is a day when we must carry the vision of God's will into all of our activities. That can be found in the Alcoholics Anonymous book on page 85. How do I maintain my spiritual condition? For me, it's quite simple. On a daily basis, I ask my higher power to grant me the gift of sobriety for that day. I have talked to many alcoholics who have gone back to drinking, and I always ask them, did you pray for sobriety the day you took your first drink? Not one of them said yes. As I practice step 10 and try to keep my house in order on a daily basis, I have the knowledge that if I ask for a daily reprieve, it will be granted. Period. The end of the reading. It's late in the day and I'm feeling very tired, but let's see. I tried to get sober one time with professional help, and I didn't care. I didn't mean it. I wasn't sincere. So that lasted, let's call it 2 months, 3 months that I was sober. Well, treatment was 2 months, so let's call it 6 months. Then I went back to drinking for almost 5 more years. And then I desperately wanted and needed to get sober. And that was like 20 some years ago. So I'm still sober from that one. And I bring that up because this person said, I've talked to many alcoholics who have gone back to drinking, and I always ask them, did you pray for sobriety the day you took your first drink? Not one of them said yes. As I practice step 10 and try to keep my house in order on a daily basis, I have the knowledge that if I ask for a daily reprieve, it will be granted. So for me, this first time trying to get sober, I had already been through a couple of treatment, really low-grade, non-interventional like treatment programs while I was in the military. Here, today's title, A Daily Tune-Up. It was kind of like a daily tune-up kind of thing. Quite a bit more serious than that, but it wasn't inpatient treatment. I guess it might qualify for outpatient treatment. I had already gone through that a couple times, and it didn't stick. I didn't care. I didn't think I needed it. And then I did inpatient treatment that didn't stick. I didn't care. I didn't think I needed it. And then here, I think, let's see, when I was 38 years old, I think, 39, somewhere around there, I went to treatment again for the second time for inpatient treatment for like about 6 weeks, and got and stayed sober. Now, I say all this because a couple things. As I practice step 10, which is step 10 from in the back of the book here, continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. The first time, there was none of that. The second time that I went through treatment, there was an intention to look at my day, and then if I did find something wrong, maybe I would feel like trying to offer some kind of explanation or an apology. And that was like the first 2 years. and I've tried to explain this before in these readings, that my first, 20 years ago, when I got out of treatment, for those next 2 years, all I did basically was go to meetings. Well, I went to work, I went to the meetings, and I didn't pick up alcohol. That's how I stayed sober. I did not get a sponsor. I did not ask people how to stay sober. I did not ask for much help in anything. Okay, so those first 2 years were really, really rough. And a lot of people relapse in that time period. And that might be part of this. This person said, I've talked to many alcoholics who have gone back drinking and asked them, did you pray on the day that you started drinking again? And not one of them said yes. Because if you had been praying each day, you might get this part of today's reading. Knowledge that if I ask for a daily reprieve from alcoholism, it will be granted. Now, I say all that because I don't pray every day any longer. Or did I maybe ever pray every day to keep me sober? To my higher power, power greater than myself, to God as I understand Him, to whatever your definition is of that spiritual advisor, person, entity, thing, force in your life. And that's really not the smartest way to do things. It's precarious. It's with a slippery, tenuous grip on sobriety. Well, like I said, it's not smart. Reasons why, I can't explain that right now. But, I mean, reasons why I don't pray every day about staying sober. Oh, why did I bring this up, and what kind of barrel of worms am I in now? A daily tune-up, it says. Today's reading. A daily tune-up. Every day is a day when we must carry the vision of God's will into all of our activities. So whatever I'm doing, on whatever day, I should have God's will with me. I should be trying to fulfill God's will. Well, maybe I don't know what God's will is today. But through deduction, I can figure out I really just don't think He wants me drinking today. So I'll basically go, I just want to make it to bedtime tonight without drinking. I want to be sober when I go to bed tonight. The next time I go to bed to sleep, I want to be sober. I say that kind of thing, or have that thought, most days. So I guess that in one way, that is praying each day to stay sober. And also getting that reprieve. So a daily tune-up. Excuse me, can I check that box? Can I put a check in the box of a daily tune-up? A daily, or what's it say? Continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Most days I can check that box. Yes, completed. I take a look at my day and see if I've done anything wrong or caused any harm, or just how the day went. If I felt like it was a good day or a bad day, whatever that means for you. and then try and top that the next day. Make it a better day the next day. Trying to just get a little bit better each day. And how would you know? Because if you're continuing in inventory, you can see progress. Or you can see the lack of progress. Okay. Now, like I said, it's late in the day. I'm very tired. It's been a rough day. And, well, I did the reading, and I'm not feeling all that excited about it. Maybe you can tell. A daily tune-up. Every day is a day when we must carry the vision of God's will into all of our activities. If you can do that, chances are great that you're going to have a winner of a day. I'll say that. And you may not need to make any of these when I was wrong, promptly admitted it. I don't think it's always possible, though. I watched this Christian religious training, teaching pastor guy, and I won't tell you his name yet, but he's got this series on finding, following, and fulfilling God's will, I think. I think that's how he puts it. And let me say this, about the first 2 years I was getting sober, just being sober was enough of a strain on everything on me that I really needed to lay off and not get involved with this spiritual aspect. Now, this is not smart, okay? But I just felt like it was necessary for myself. So that was 18 plus years ago. In those 18 years now, I've found that having what did it say, a spiritual axiom, that came from this month. It's like the basis of the spiritual thing, an abstract idea that you, at least for the sake of conversing about a topic, you don't need to know anything more than it's an axiom. It's just a base. It's a foundation. It's not real. It doesn't need to be real. It's not about the base. It's about the thing that's setting on the base or the foundation or whatever. I believe that's an axiom. It's a way to talk about an abstract idea, I think, is one way of putting it. So anyhow, the big book. This book here, Alcoholics Anonymous big book, has just about anything you'd ever need to know about getting sober and staying sober written down in that book and approved, and it works. For the most part, a huge percentage, way over 50% of the time, maybe over 80% of the time. Anyways, somewhere in here, which I can't point to right now, it says something about the spiritual part of this program is, so where are we at? 14 minutes. If you go to the promises in the section of the book called Into Action, on page 84, it says, our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. So that's talking about a spiritual thing, God. And I'm blanking on the part that I wanted to read to you and what it says about this thing, having the compulsion to drink like we used to when we were a practicing alcoholic, never ending thirst, drinking to blackout every time, that kind of drinking, uh, and feeling like you needed to do that all the time, every day, whatever, that having a somewhat of a spiritual awakening, that compulsion is lifted. It's a miracle. It really is, because I look at all the times that I tore apart this house looking for more booze, when already plenty drunk. And then that's gone. It's never been like that since. I've had the slight thought now and again, hey, wouldn't a beer be fine or nice? Or wouldn't, maybe a drink would straighten this out. I've had those thoughts, and I haven't acted on them. But before, that kind of thing would never exit my brain. It was always get more booze for whatever. Anyhow, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, you can say it that way, that the spiritual component was great. So step 2 and step 3 are important to have done. A daily inventory. Check in and see if you've been talking to your higher power that day, or your sponsor, or anybody from AA. If you've had a rotten day, say, you take an inventory at the end of a long day, like today, if I looked at everything I did today. Right now, I feel like I did everything right, or good, or correct, and I didn't do anything wrong, and I don't need to promptly admit it. I'm fairly certain I'm clean with that today. But I've had days where, I mean, so much worse than today. Like with stress and effort and I don't know, people just, no teamwork or something. I don't know if it's because of me or because of them. But what did it tell us already this month? If I'm hurt or something, it's my fault, or if I get you angry and you're screaming and yelling at me, then there's something wrong with me also, because I got you angry enough to scream at me. So, it's I can't just blame you for screaming at me, and that's why I'm in a foul mood at the end of the day. It's me. I should be able to control myself better. But anyhow. As a daily inventory, or halfway through the day, or once a week, once a month, once every 3 months, see if you've been talking to your higher power, or looking for help, or considering what a higher power might be for you. And then see if maybe the people see if you're actually going to an AA meeting occasionally, once a week, once a day, once a month, whatever it is, and see if you have a sponsor. Do you need a sponsor in these things? Things like that for a daily inventory. Continue to look at that and see how you are. Now, at the end of a horrible, bad, crappy day, you might find it's like, yeah, you know what? It's been 3 months since I talked to my sponsor, or, it's been, I can't remember the last time I prayed. I think that one time 7 months ago I prayed about something. Maybe that has something to do with your day falling apart, or the quality of your day not being satisfactory. Because as a human, again, lazy, not all of us, but this one is, and I can gloss over stuff I don't want to deal with, and then just try and bury it and repress it, and it comes out somewhere else. And then, it might be, it could be anything. Anyways, thank you for coming by here today, and I'll get back with you later. Goodbye.